Brazil front row starters, McLaren's Lando Norris and Mercedes' George Russell, have been reprimanded and fined 5,000 euros, almost $5,500 for not following the aborted start procedure. Aston Martin's Lance Stroll beached his car in the Turn 4 gravel on the formation lap, forcing an aborted start, but the two drivers misconstrued it and went for an additional lap, which their rivals behind followed despite no green lights shown. With the steward's document stating, although the signal was appropriately given, the light panel illuminated as prescribed and the teams notified by the messaging system, the driver left the grid and proceeded on a lap that he assumed to be an extra formation lap. Staying in Brazil, where Mercedes was fined a total of 10,000 euros, almost 11,000 US dollars, for changing tire pressures for both of its cars on the grid, breaching one of the sport's technical directives. The team successfully argued that it didn't have time to adjust pressures before the wheels had to be fitted, given grid access logistics, ensuring it was fine and not automatically disqualified. This decision should not be considered as a precedent for any similar breach in the future, as the circumstances are considered unique, said the stewards. South Africa's chances of returning to the F1 calendar have been boosted, with news that the Kyalami circuit has begun the process to gain the FIA's Grade 1 status required for the sport to race there. F1 last went to Kyalami in 1993, with Alain Prost winning for Williams en route to his 4th World Championship, after which the track fell off the calendar and behind on its facilities. But the South African track has recently brought in Apex Circuit Design, which worked with Miami on development of its 5.4-kilometer autodrome to bring it up to Grade 1 accreditation. Kyalami faces competition to host a Grand Prix from rival African nation Rwanda, which emerged as a serious candidate over the summer break. Rwandan capital Kigali is already locked in to host the FIA's awards night in December, giving top brass a chance to explore. Kevin Magnussen is holding out hope that he can secure the final seat at Sauber, despite not racing in Brazil due to a nausea-related illness, and rumors that F2 star Gabriel Bortoleto has already signed. Magnussen is in his 9th season racing in F1, his 7th and last with Haas, given the squad has a new driver lineup for 2025. But while he's a long shot for the Sauber seat, the Dane is ensuring he stays a free agent, which could prove a crucial factor as the team continues its negotiations. The season is still going. There is still a seat open in Formula One, so there is no reason to commit to anything, Magnussen said. Mercedes trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin has praised the squad's 2025 rookie driver Andrea Kimi Antonelli on his clean run to 12th place in Mexico's opening practice session. The prodigiously talented Italian has been fast-tracked through his career following a string of titles, and went straight from Formula Regional to F2, where he's 6th, with another jump to F1 next year. Antonelli's second FP1 session went much better than his first in Monza, where he put the car into the gravel at Parabolica in the first 5 minutes. But while the Italian didn't extract his ultimate pace in Mexico, finishing 12th as the top non-race driver, the Silver team is playing the long game.
I think he felt frustrated that he didn't go quicker, but from our side, very pleased with everything that we saw from him. At the moment, he's also spending the race weekends with the team. So he's understanding the flow of the sessions, the flow of the meetings, how you actually approach a Formula One race weekend, which is great. And then in between the race weekends, he's got a few tests where he's running our older cars.
F1 engine manufacturers Alpine and Honda have been handed six-figure fines by the FIA for procedural breaches within the power unit cost cap for 2023, the first year under the sport's new financial regulations. The FIA stated there was no evidence either manufacturer had gained or sought to gain any advantage, and that they both acted cooperatively and in a spirit of good faith throughout the review process. Despite both being under the $95 million cost cap, Alpine was handed a $400,000 fine, while world champion Honda was fined $600,000, both with costs. Sauber has made changes to its structure ahead of its transition to Audi from 2026, bringing in new talent to ensure competitiveness. With Gianpaolo Dallara, who returns to Sauber from Germany's DTM, installed as its head of race engineering, Ignacio Iñaki Rueda joins from Ferrari as sporting director. While Sauber stalwart Beat Zender will become director of signature programs and operations from 2025. Former Haas driver Esteban Gutierrez reckons that the American team is now the Force India of yesteryear in terms of bang for buck. Haas has made a real step forward in 2024 under its new team principal Ayo Komatsu, who has championed better internal communication for a more united workforce and more reliable upgrades, which in turn has brought more investment from founder Gene Haas and a new technical partnership with Toyota. Gutierrez, though, told official podcast F1 Nation that Haas, which is 7th in the standings for its highest position since 2018, will definitely make the best use of that extra funding.
When you see the team today, how from the outside, it's great to see they're in the position right now because they are able to fight, and they are, I think, the most efficient team in terms of investment and cost. You know, they have no internal, they get as much parts as possible from Ferrari.
Former Grand Prix driver Christian Danner says Fernando Alonso is the only driver he's known to be fast across all eras he's competed in. Alonso celebrated his record 400th Grand Prix appearance in Mexico, with his 400th start coming up next month in Qatar. But while Danner says that the superstars of today are just as good as the past masters, the German told F1's official podcast Beyond the Grid that Alonso stands out.
Every racing driver had his era. Either there was a match or not. Fangio had a match with his era because he could drive these particular cars more quickly than most of the others. The same happened to the 1980s when I was racing in Formula One. The same happened later on with Michael, and the only guy who survived all this was Alonso. Groove tires, 2.7-liter engines, 10 cylinders, 8 cylinders, turbo, hybrid. Alonso was always quick.
Rally stars Sebastian Loeb and Hayden Paddon are the latest hot shoes to be confirmed for next year's Race of Champions, set to be held for the first time in Sydney, Australia. Loeb, a 9-time World Rally Champion, and Paddon, twice a European Rally Champion, will join F1 stars Sebastian Vettel and Mick Schumacher, as well as 6-time Australian Supercars champion Jamie Whincup, with more names to be announced in the lead-up to the event. The Race of Champions will be held at Stadium Australia on March 7 to 8, the weekend before F1's season-opening race in Melbourne. The last ROC event was held in 2023 in Piteå, Sweden, with the winner, local hero, 2-time DTM champion Mattias Ekström. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.